Glad to be done with camp.
I think this was the last official day of camp. But whenever you get to move out of the dorms, that feels like it's the last day of camp, obviously. But as an offense, we're still looking to improve before game one. So it still feels like camp. We're still doing everything we can. Obviously, tomorrow school starts, so it'll probably start feeling a little bit different then. But as of right now, we just gotta keep improving as an offense, and there's just the fine-tuned things in the offense that we need to kind of iron out.
How do you think the offensive line did Saturday?
It wasn't one of our best outings. We kind of let the offense down. Had a lot of drop balls, just from the quarterback and center exchange. I think we got away from what we do best, which is knocking people off the ball and protecting the pocket from the inside out in the passing game. So those are the 2 points of emphasis this week, is to really get back to moving the line of scrimmage back and letting our big running backs make some plays in the backfield.
Saban's questions of the toughness after the scrimmage, is that a fair?
Yeah, I think we went back and watched the scrimmage, and you look at the line of scrimmage. That's something we pride ourselves in as an offensive line, is to really move the line of scrimmage back, and I think that's something that we got away from. So it's kind of hard to watch that kind of stuff on film, but I think that's that drives us this week, is to get better and to get back what we were doing.
How much do you credit to Jarian Reed and Brandon Ivory in that winning the battle of the line of scrimmage versus how much you guys technically did wrong?
Well, those guys are big guys. They're great. They're good players too. Don't get me wrong. But we, that's as an offensive line, that's what we pride ourselves in. No matter how big they are, if they're fast, they move fast, or if they're big and they're two-gapping guys, we should be able to move them off the ball. That doesn't take anything away from Brandon Ivory or Reed. Those guys are really good players and they're big guys, and we got to get after it this week.
You talk about the botched snaps. What happened there, and how do you fix that?
You just keep working on it. It's kind of, it just kind of happens when you have new quarterbacks in there. And it wasn't as many as we usually had, so it's just something that we just got to iron out this week, and we'll be fine.
Is it good to get Leon back in the mix?
Yeah, it is. He kind of had that unfortunate injury, so he was always competing, and he still is right now. But it's good to have another guy out there that he's got some experience, and he's an older guy. Obviously hasn't been in the system as long, but he's a big part of what we do as an offense, and I think he can really help us.
You were able to watch Blake all spring and over the summer and stuff. How's he improved from there to now?
Immensely. He's taken on a leadership role, at least a vocal role on the offense, and between him and Jacob, they're huge competitors, and that's all you want as a quarterback when you get up to the line of scrimmage, and you got those two guys behind you. You know that they're going to give you everything they got, and as an offensive line, it's awesome that we can work for someone like that. And, whoever wins the job, I know that they're going to do a great job competing for us.
In terms of like playbook knowledge and throwing the ball and all that stuff, what do you see from Blake?
He's doing everything he's got to do to try to win the job. Him and Jacob and all the quarterbacks. When you step in to play quarterback for this offense, that you're going to need to know the entire offense in and out. And every quarterback has tried to do that, and they're still working on it every day. Nobody's perfect on offense, and everybody's going to have a bad day, but it's how you overcome that. And they're both huge competitors, so that's what they've done.
How do you try to work with them kind of away from the field in terms of just trying to develop that bond and support with the center?
I've been with Blake for 4 years now, so I've known him in and out of just being here. But obviously we were in with Jacob and during camp, and so we kind of built a relationship then. And every day you're on the field, him and Jacob and Blake rotating. Every day, every snap, that's one more relationship you build, and the more time you can spend with them, the better. And as a team, we've been trying to spend more time with each other, just to kind of build that relationship that we were kind of lacking last year.
What kind of things are you doing differently then in that sense?
You look at the bucket challenge, like something as small as that. That means more. That means more than a lot of things that we've ever done as a team. As a team that we can get off the field and still help everybody out, or help like a great cause. It kind of comes out of us and into something else, something bigger than what we are. Things like that, where somebody might overlook that as an outside person, but that just helps you build a team.
One more. We haven't had a chance to meet Coker yet. Can you tell us a little bit about what he's like away from the field?
Well, I think Shepard. I was talking to Shepard earlier today, and he's, he's a little bit of a country guy. Obviously being down south. He's a big hunter and fisherman. So, he's a good guy. Not really much into technology. Just a good guy that you always want on your side. But he's a hard worker, and that's what you want as a player.